It's the Brad and John Show.
And today's date is June 3rd. This is the C block, which means we start at right around 7:40. John, you know, a lot of times you and I talk during the commercials, and the last break, John was saying, Brad, you know, I love your analogies. Do you have any other analogies this morning? And I'm thinking to myself,
oh, I was begging you for some. Yeah, and make sure they're antiquated and completely out of style.
Okay, John, let me give you my analogy of, and you'll know exactly what this is all about because you talk about men and women all the time and relationships and stuff like that. I'll give you the analogy of the state of Missouri and the Royals and the Chiefs. Okay.
Okay, I'm waiting for it.
We all know that the state of Kansas has made a very lucrative offer to both the Chiefs and the Royals to relocate their stadiums in Kansas and give them huge amounts of money. I think they, with the Royals or with the Chiefs, I think they said they'd give them 80% of what they're going to build. Now, what if the Chiefs said, "Hey, we're going to build a $40 billion stadium," and the state would go, "Oh, holy, that means we're going to."
Yeah, they're on the hook. So continue with your analogy, Brad. It's about getting a better offer from a partner. Go ahead.
Okay, so let's say a guy has a very attractive girlfriend, and she's not exactly wild about the relationship. It's gotten a little bit old, and she says, I'll just use the name John, just as like a, hypothetical. John, I don't know if I want to be in a relationship with you anymore. I think I'm going to move on. And John would say, but honey, I'll go buy you a new BMW, or maybe
that's what a Brad Hildebrand would do for real.
I'll buy you a new Mercedes. Please stay with me. Isn't that what the state of Missouri is doing?
I'm glad you brought up that analogy. The great Elijah Haahr from KWTO had State Representative Darren Chappell on yesterday, or maybe 2 days ago, talking about the exact same thing. I think it was yesterday. And Elijah used the exact same analogy, Brad.
Really?
And Elijah's point was that right now, let's say the legislature comes back for the special session and says, nah, you know what? I don't think we're going to offer you, let's say to the Royals, we're not going to give you exactly what you want. The Royals would look pretty dumb saying, well, okay, we'll stay in Missouri anyway. And Elijah successfully used the analogy of, a man and a woman in a relationship and having better options and walking away.
But isn't that what it is? I mean, I talk about the fact all the time, and I know you get tired of me saying this. If women ran the country, we wouldn't have this I call it a tremendously pathetic view of sports. Oh, we got to have sports, got to have sports. I say once again, you take Arrowhead Stadium, okay? John, you're a business person, okay? When you worked at Monsanto, if there was a building on the Monsanto
that was only used X numbers a day, no, Brad, we would sell it and we would lease it out.
Right.
And also, Brad, you're right. If women ran government, we would give huge tax breaks to a brand new Sephora facility in Jackson County. And the kind of women you like would definitely be clamoring for a new Lane Bryant facility.
Listen to you, John. No, I just, see, years ago, I heard a guy on another radio station say, and it stuck with me, I'm a sports fan, not a sports fanatic, okay? And I totally identify with that because of the fact that if someone called me up today and say, hey, I got tickets for the Cardinals game, you want to go with me? And I'd say, okay, let me get my body armor out, and yeah, I'll go. Let's go down, okay? And we'll get my Defender. You know what a Defender is?
Is it a jacket?
No, a Defender is an up-armored version of the Land Rover. It's like a super.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Some of them are actually literally.
All right, that's enough detail. You would say you would get that and you would go downtown.
I go downtown. Okay.
Yeah. Someone offered me tickets last night to go to a St. Louis City soccer game in 2 weeks. And I laughed at them and they're a wonderful person. And I said, no. I said, thank you, though. I appreciate that.
Have you ever been to one of the soccer games?
Absolutely not.
Would you ever go to one of the soccer games?
No. Not with you.
No, would you go with anybody?
Like with someone that was good company? I don't know. That's a good question. And I told this person who's wonderful and who I hope doesn't listen to this. I told this person thank you, but like I have no interest in doing that. I mostly don't like outdoor soccer fans. I love the sport of soccer. I love indoor soccer. The people I've met who are enthusiastic about St. Louis City soccer are not the kind of people I'd want to stand next to for 90 minutes or 120 minutes.
Okay, let's do a little role playing. Okay, you're John Combes and I'm Jennifer Lopez. Hey, John, I've got tickets to the soccer game next week. Will you go with me to the soccer game? It's me, Jennifer Lopez. You can just call me J-Lo. What would you say?
No. Back in the era in which she was ovulating, absolutely. Otherwise, she could swing by. I could give her an address, and she could come to Chesterfield. I'm not driving to the city to spend intimate time with Jennifer Lopez. Don't be confused by my delicious blank. I'm just Johnny from the block. Your ladies can fill in the blank, Brad.
Okay.
Brad, weren't you going to make, I know that we've only talked about the stadium every day for the last 3 months. Weren't you going to make a Niles Stevens pitch for us?
He's invited me to this event on Thursday.
Did he invite you, Brad, or did he invite us, and then I'm obviously not going to go, and then you can go?
Well, hold on a minute now. Here, I'll pull it up. Let me see if I can find it here.
I have it in front of me. Do you want me to read details while you fumble with your phone?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. June 5th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Lodge at the Pair, or as Brad calls it, the Palace of the Pair. The MC, Mark Cox from 97.1, a real talk radio station. Mark Cox will be the MC, and you will hear from a special update from Scott Vaughn, host of This Week in Missouri Politics, as well as publisher of the Missouri Times. You can also hear from legislators Adam Schnelting, Ben Brown, George Hruza, Richard West, Mark Matheson, Phil Olerking, Justin Sparks, David Gregory. And then you also have, most importantly, in my opinion, you have real grassroots organizers there. You know what I'm saying? And then we also have a point of contention. Brad attempted to stir the pot unsuccessfully. You also have a preview with 2 county executive candidates, St. Charles County executive candidate Bill Eigel and St. Louis County executive candidate Dennis Hancock will be there. This is brought to us by the Wild Horse Republican Township, Missouri River Township, South County Republican Club, Franklin County Republican Central Committee, St. Louis YRs, and 97.1 Talk.
So that's what he wrote to you.
No, I have the flyer, Brad. I have their social media piece.
But he didn't put a personal little note on that for you?
What do you mean? I mean, it's digital. He's not going to handwrite it.
Yesterday at 7:06 p.m., I got the same thing, but underneath it says, "Hey, Brad, we have a great event lined up for Thursday night at the Pear Lodge. Please join us if you're available. Thanks, Niles."
Nice. Very good. So you're on a mass email text. That's awesome, Brad. That's very good. How do you think people know about this show, Brad? I think because they drive around town and they see all the money that you have invested in the advertising and promoting your stations, Brad. Anyway, the real point of this is that Niles and the team have put together, it looks like a fantastic event. And think of how much effort it takes, Brad, to get all these folks to coordinate their schedules, to be there to talk about this legislative session.
John, I'm looking out the studio window, and Niles is in the parking lot, and he's waving at me. He's got a couple dozen donuts, and he's got a tub of Hudsonville ice cream for me. Oh, my God, is that guy a great guy?
I haven't met Niles, but I don't think he's the type of guy to sit in a parking lot and eat ice cream by himself.
Yeah, no, it's for me. It's for me. It's all for me. It's not for him. He wouldn't do that. He's not that kind of a guy. Okay. Are you
going to go to that event, Brad?
Here's the problem I have, John. I've already agreed to go to, there is, a matter of fact, I'm a little bit upset about this. This has gotten to be, they do like this once a year. They have a mass Chamber of Commerce meet and greet. And this is like, I think it's at the Foundry Arts Center in St. Charles.
And who's they?
Well, it's a bunch of the chambers of commerce who actually see, as opposed to the radio stations who would, we know, we've heard it, we hear it every day from don't get together.
Okay, tell us about the event on Thursday.
It's like 10 area chambers of commerce getting together and having like, hey, meet people from the other chambers, okay? And I've already agreed to go to that. But the interesting thing is I believe that one's from 5 to 7 and this is from 6 to 8. So, being the kind of gadfly I am where, sometimes I have to check my schedule because there are certain nights where I'm invited to like 10 or 15 different events at the same time.
Yeah. And don't you think that you'll be, by the time you're kicked out of the real chamber event for hosting a make-believe online chamber. Don't you think you'll have time to make it to the lodge?
Well, John, let me see if I can. Let me see if okay. I am the guy. As a matter of fact, we are coming up, I think, on our 80th member of the Westplex Chamber. And by the way, membership is free. Westplex.com. And I'm not kidding. As a matter of fact, if you want to go directly to the page where you can sign up, it's jointhechamber.today. Jointhechamber.today. Okay, let me see if I can find this event because you're making fun of the Westplex Chamber. Wait till I give you a rundown of the chambers that are going to be there. Let me put June 5th. Let me see if I can find this. I can't find it real quick. I'll tell you what. Let me move on to something else, and I'll see if I can come back to this because if you're making fun of the...
I'm not making fun. Brad, does anybody has anybody paid the elevated fee to be a member of the Westplex Chamber of Commerce?
5 people.
And who is one of them, Brad?
You were one of them, John. You're one of the members.
I am? Oh, yes. Thank you, Brad. And you're welcome. I never got to thank you for that, but you're welcome, Brad.
John, thank you so much.
Yeah, it's too late. I've been checked out of the station for a long time. Go ahead, Brad. What were you going to talk about next?
Okay, June 5th, Jam Chamber event. Let me see if I just Foundry.
Let's do our research while we're on the air.
We don't like that.
If you're listening to this on YouTube, just I'll put a timestamp of when Brad starts talking about something important again.
Yada, 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 yada. Okay. Multi-chamber business after hours. And there are, and let's see the chamber. Okay, here we go. Hold on. Participating chambers include Greater St. Louis Inc. Isn't that the former dude from Franklin County?
Yeah, can you remember his name?
That abandoned Franklin County. What's his name? Tim something or other.
And you'll see him, and you won't say a word about how you're disappointed. You'll trash him on the air, and then you'll be his best friend when you see him in person.
St. Charles Regional Chamber, West St. Louis County Chamber of Commerce, St. Louis County African Chamber, O'Fallon Chamber of Commerce and Industries, St. Louis LGBTQ Chamber of Commerce, Asian American.
There you go. That's why you're going.
Asian American Chamber of Commerce, Heartland Black Chamber, Heartland St. Charles County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, Metro St. Louis, and more chambers, but they don't mention the Westplex Chamber.
Wow, that's impressive.
I got something I could say, but I get myself in real trouble. Not necessarily with, okay, so next topic, okay. I find this fascinating, and we've talked about this from time to time. And I'm a ratings nerd. Okay, here's a story about the fact that who was just in our town last week, Rachel Maddow, who I believe was paid $50,000 by the St. Louis County Library to show up at the. You
said that was her speaking fee. You said that you went to her website and saw that. You haven't confirm that the county library paid her $50,000. You're making that up, but you said that her speaker fee ranges up to that much, right?
I don't think she showed up here for free. Put it that way.
No, I don't think she did either. But you don't believe that she was paid $50,000. You don't know that.
Well,
you went to her website and saw the top range of her speaking fee.
Oh no,
her
top range of her speaking fee is $100,000 plus you pay all expenses, stuff like that. Okay. Title of the story: MSNBC's revamped lineup flounders. Jen Psaki sheds 47% of predecessor's viewership, and that is Rachel Maddow. Okay, in the month of May, Jen Psaki on the old Rachel Maddow show had an average of 971,000 viewers. Okay, John, I would think it would be safe to say I know radio stations would pull that kind of, it's called a cum in the radio business. I don't know what they call it in TV, but there are individual TV stations still in this country, even though TV is not what it used to be. There are individual TV stations in this country that have 971,000 viewers at one time in one city. Okay. Why in the world is MSNBC still on the air? Can you figure that out, John?
I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing we don't get to see a breakdown from NBC of what every aspect of their business makes, like profit and loss. Maybe they figure it's a loss leader. Maybe they think that the value of having progressive talk on television is worth losing money. But frankly, Brad, we don't know. We don't know if there's enough, erectile dysfunction medicines or fat people or old people medicines being advertised on television to pay their bills. Maybe there are. We don't know if there are or not.
Okay. Last but not least for this show, this is fascinating to me. YouTube, I'm just fascinated by YouTube. There's a company called Wendover Production, Wendover, Wendover Productions, okay? And he has subscribers $4.8 million. He posted this over the weekend. It's a 30-minute documentary it's called The Downfall of Southwest Airlines. Absolutely, positively fascinating. Fascinating. And they talk about the big weather thing that screwed them up was 2 years ago where they grounded all their planes for a while. And it's sort of an interesting story. But they talk about the investment firm, I guess it's like a hedge fund. Elliott, are you familiar with these guys, Elliott?
Yeah, Elliott Capital Management. Yeah.
Okay. They essentially say, and I will say, John Combest and his ilk are responsible for the downfall of Southwest Airlines.
For those of you who are new to the show, I have a couple nickels and dimes that I rub together to try to provide for someday a retirement. And so Brad, because I actually think that businesses should be profitable, which is not the Brad Hildebrand model, Brad puts me in the same category as hedge funds, which is hilarious. But go ahead, Brad. So let me guess. And by the way, this video was suggested to me on YouTube last night. Because I'm not you, I'm not going to waste 30 minutes of time watching something that could be used, for something productive. But I'm sure you watched it. So let me guess. Elliott Investment Management wanted Southwest Airlines to be profitable, so they cut costs. And then there were some mistakes made because of cost cutting. Is that the gist?
No, what they've done is it's not as nice as that. They've ripped the heart out of Southwest Airlines and essentially made it just another one of the airlines. And essentially what has happened to the airline business is the exact damn thing that's happened to the radio business. You get all these hedge funds and stuff like that buy up all the radio stations. And then they say, hey, you don't need disc jockeys on the air. You can have an automated voice do that.
Hey, you can run 23 hours of national conservative talk and only have 1 hour of the Brad and John show. And when John suggests running some local programming that he would run and he would sell ads for on the weekend, say, no, we want to keep the format the same on the weekend.
I'm not a hedge fund guy, John. I see that's the whole difference. And the end of the thing, they talks about the fact that what'll happen is Elliott will bump up their profits, and then they'll what's it, pump and dump? Is that what you call it, John? They're going to pump.
Yeah, you can't pump and dump with a large cap stock, but nice try. Go ahead.
Okay, they're going to pump and dump Southwest Airlines, and then they're just going to dump it, and then it'll just be another has-been airlines like Braniff and all the other ones that have gone. And what's sad about it is, matter of fact, down in Texas, they've had a problem in one of the graveyards. You know about this?
No, what's that? Oh, yeah. Herb Keller is rolling over in his graveyard. By the way, Southwest Airlines stock is up 19.57% in the last year. So it would seem, Brad, in a really tough economic climate in the last year, Southwest Airlines, investors are rewarding Southwest to the tune of 20%.
Pump and dump, John. Pump and dump.
Yeah, you can't pump and dump a large cap stock, but I understand that the have-nots of the world like to complain about people who make money, but it would seem like whatever Southwest has done the last year in a challenging economy has been successful.
One of the comments in this documentary was the fact that there are people that would fly Southwest just because of the culture and the company who could probably even maybe get a better deal with other airlines, but they liked the culture and they liked the way they were treated, and they were essentially rewarding the wonderful service they get from Southwest Airlines by being loyal customers. Me
and
included.
Now they're not going to do it. They're going to go to Delta. They're going to go to American. Hey, at least Southwest used to have hot chicks. I think most of their stewardesses now would probably follow the trend of being so fat they have to barely squeeze through the aisles. But yeah, Southwest used to make sure that they had good-looking, slender women, right?
That is John Combest. You women.
It sure is, Brad. And congratulations. I'm not a Southwest shareholder, but congratulations to those folks because they're up 20%. And the have-nots will complain and spend 30 minutes watching YouTube documentaries while the rest of us, do something productive with our life.
John, people tell me, why is John so complimentary of you, Brad? Why is he always so nice to you on the air?
I know, that's right.
Do you ever get a big head from all the nice conversation, all the nice compliments that John gives you? And I go, no, I just bask in the glory of his constantly telling me good things about myself. That's what I do.
You're welcome, Brad.